Raise your voices, raise your glass high. Welcome to the Drink O'Clock Podcast. Let's dive. Oh, grab an old fashioned and join the fray. Raise your spirits, let the music play. From the corner pub to the dance hall floor. Drink O'Clock Podcast, we're ready for more.
We're fucking live on Thirsty Thursday, which is my favorite day to record. And I got a fun one. I have Nick T with me. Nick, you're a live streamer, and you're also a business owner turned podcaster, brother. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Dude, you got a pretty interesting story, man. So before we dig into the details, tell me and my listeners here who Nick is. Like, tell me, growing up, go back a little ways, and then we'll hit kind of your harrowing moment before we dig into the recent, right?
So I grew up in South Dorchester, Boston.
Oh, he's
I'm
a
Southie boy.
Hey, I'm from Philly, so shout out to the Northeast, baby. It's a beautiful thing.
And that's funny because when I was in college and I would come home, I had a friend in Philly that I would go see. So I remember like Club Egypt before it burned down. I remember Shampoo. So
Fucking Shampoo. Jesus, you're bringing back memories, bro.
Petro's on South Street.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of Philly in me. Okay?
I like it.
So, we got a little bit of love for Philly, and I used to go to, like, Phillies and Red Sox games because I was a Red Sox fan, so, I still am, but I loved, like, the Phillies passed on J.D. Drew, or he refused to play for them, so, like, when J.D. Drew would come to the plate, Philly fans would boo him, and I'll never forget the first game I saw when interleague play started, and he hit a home run, and I was like, yeah, shut him up.
Baseball's it's tough to talk about with the Philly exit so early. It's tough, man. It's tough.
You know what? I can say the Red Sox exited early, but like I really didn't think they were even gonna get in. After depleting so many like franchise players in the last couple of years, like with Devers and Bogarts, I was surprised with the young team they even got in this year. So for them to go out when they went out, I was okay for it. At least they made it there.
Meanwhile, the Phillies had one of the best records in baseball, and dude, our bats just go cold during the playoffs. It's sad.
You know what? I'm a big Bryce Harper fan.
Love Bryce.
Love Bryce Harper. Well. I love the jump to Philly. But even having the bad OBS this year, when you look, because of course I look at stats and stuff when I read articles, and they said, yeah, we hope he bounces back. But even when you look at his year this year, it was aligned with what his career yearly average is. Yeah. It's not compared to like the better seasons he's had in Philly, obviously, But like, yes, his OBS was down, but like he still did about what he averages when you look on ESPN for his career, which was like 26 homers, 75 ribbies, and his average was down. But, he still kind of, like, averaged what his average was. But I know he's been on a higher level in Philly. And he's bouncing back as a fast injury. So, I think he'll be good next year. I love Bryce Harper. I think he's going to bounce back. I think Philly's going to have a great year again next year.
He's a Philly guy. Like, we love the grit. I actually don't have really any complaints at all about Bryce. It's everything else, dude. Other than Schwarber, which, I think he's gonna walk. He's probably gonna get a boatload of money, which is crazy because I think he's
34.
Yeah, 34. So, he gets a 4-year, $150 million contract. What's he gonna look like? But he's not playing outfield. He's a DH, right? So he could just be, if you're just a hitter and you're not doing anything else, it's really hard to get injured and exert yourself. So, I mean, I say give him the money because I like Schwarber, but I'm also not the owner who would be paying him,
I
a
just
quarter mil.
say that in the National League, he has to play the field somewhere. He's going to
Yeah.
have to play the field. So at some point, I'm just afraid. I mean, again, like, you know what my big thing is? My dad always taught me because, again, you asked me about me. I played Division One baseball. I was a pitcher.
Okay.
So to me, when I played at Arizona State. I played with Dustin Pedroia. I played with Ian Kinsler. I played with Andre Ethier. All of them went pro. So I mean, Dustin Pedroia, one of the greatest Red Sox ever.
It's
But
true.
I'm not gonna lie, like again, my dad always taught me you don't pay a player for what they did, you pay them for what they're gonna do. And you have to turn around and say, and that's a mistake that a lot of teams make because they'll turn around and pay you for what somebody did, but they don't look for the future as what's this guy going to do at 35? What's he going to do at 36?
Yeah.
37? Is he, because, I mean, let's say, at some point there's a decline. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and Schwarber's a big dude. He's a big guy. So to see him trying to hustle down a fly ball in the National League,
Not
you know what I'm
happening.
saying?
Not
Yeah,
happening.
and you're not going to give him first base because you just converted Bryce Harper. He's still got 7 years on his contract.
And he's a great first baseman.
Oh, he's going to be great no matter where he plays. The guy's just a baseball guy. And I feel that same way about Mike Trout. If he got on a better team and you moved him around, Mike Trout's going to play ball no matter where.
Yeah, and look, I'll be the first person to tell you, I have not been the biggest like if I were to rank my sports, football's number one for me.
I'm with you.
Football's number one.
Football,
I'm
NBA, MLB.
NBA's number two for me, and then MLB. But I'll tell you this, I watched more baseball with the wifey this year than I ever have in my entire adult life, and I'll be 40. So, I mean, it's kind of wild to think, and I really enjoyed watching the Phillies play, but they were such a crazy team. We'd either put up 13 runs or 0 or 1. It's just we had no consistency.
I know one end to the other. And I'm a big being an NBA fan, I'm sure you heard about today's news where the FBI came crashing down. Now Chauncey Billups has been arrested, Damian Jones and Terry Rozier.
Dude, did you see? So I'm a big Twitter guy. So Chauncey's arrest was different than the throwing, I guess, that some of those like Scary Terry was doing, right? Yeah. And Scary Terry's got some crazy tapes. Like I've seen it all. It's blatantly obvious he was throwing. But it's crazy because Chauncey Billups was like he would be hired by the mob and the mafia to be a celebrity at these poker games that were literally they would get a guy that was rich or people that were rich, and he would be like the celeb, and he would wear these X-ray glasses, and all it was glasses that could see like the back of the cards that had a X-ray of what the card was. And did you see this video?
No, dude. I just heard that he was in a poker ring with the La Cosa Nostra, and when I heard that, I was like, yo, so he's a mob guy.
You should see how crazy it is with these. It's just they look like regular sunglasses, but with the way it was, it's almost like taking a black light and putting it
just
on
seeing
something.
Invisible ink that somebody wrote.
And it was just in invisible ink on the back of the card. You could see if it's a queen, jack, 3. Fucking wild. I didn't even know that existed. But think about it, bro. These guys, Chauncey Billups, during his NBA career, made over $100 million. They were paying him $50,000 a game or something. Why would you? And he was making $5 million a year as a coach. Why would you risk that?
I mean, I guess he felt like, I'm not really doing anything wrong here. Like, I mean, it's an illegal poker game as it is. Like, I'm just here. Like, you
The
know, when
NBA's fucked. The NBA's fucked with Scary Terry because they investigated it, and I saw a bunch of reports saying they pulled him from playing and said you
last
can't
night
play.
Spolstra wouldn't. Well, even before, Spolstra must have heard something. There must have been some whisper about it or something, because he last night turned around and got pulled from the game from playing before he even got arrested. Anything. Spolstra did not let him play last night, and I watched the takes, and it looks like, it reminds me of, it was like back in '94 when that movie Blue Chip came out
Oh
with
yeah.
with Nick Nolte, and the one point guard Tony was point shaving, and you could just see, they go, "Who's he passing to? There's nobody there." And
Yep.
that's the same thing it looked like with Terry Rozier. Like, there was just such obvious. He wasn't even a good point shaver. Like, he was bad. It was really
Why?
bad.
Why? Like, if I could sit down and interview one of these guys, he was making $26.5 million this year. This year! He makes more money in one game than I'll make in 5 years. Working every day. Like, what? I want to know what. I'm a big psychology guy. I want to know what goes
I
on in
know.
people's heads when you're making this much fucking money to risk it all. He was only making a couple $100,000. It's not like it was like that's a drop in a bucket for these guys. It makes no sense.
I think the same thing. I sit there and I say, like, it made sense when the referee started throwing games. Remember when he went to jail? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
make a couple $100,000, now you're making more. It's a different lifestyle. But when you're an NBA like all-star with the with the Celtics, and then all of a sudden you're, a starting point guard when you go to other teams, why? Why? You're making a buttload of money. You already have a name. People are watching you closer because of your name. Like, why risk it all? I just never got that.
Makes no sense to me. Now, you obviously, you had this story background. So talk to me a little bit about you played D1 ball, man. The baseball. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like,
I
what was
pitched
that
at
like?
Arizona. It was a thrill, but I had a different experience because I had my daughter my freshman year of college.
Oh shit. Okay. Early
Yeah,
dad.
yeah. Like, starting my sophomore year, I had my daughter. Like, I met her mother on MySpace, like
Oh,
in college,
I
and
remember, dude. MySpace was that was an interesting time for what? How old are you?
May 36.
Yeah, so
It was in,
you're yeah. I'm 3 years older than you. It's our generation is the last of a dying breed, bro.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like, I just had this talk on my podcast last night. Like, I remember AIM. I remember
Mhm,
ICQ.
mhm.
Like, I remember, not having cell phones on our nights out and writing
Yep.
my phone number on a piece of paper. But I also, when I was in college, it was a thing, and I'm sure it just wasn't at ASU as the number one party school in the nation when I was there. But I mean, you had guys like Terrell Suggs that was there when I was there. You had, James Harden was there.
That's
So,
wild, bro.
yeah. And what's wild is when you go to a school like that, like Scatterbo. Scatterbo is an ASU guy. And
He's a
like,
monster, bro. He
dude,
is a monster.
love the kid. Love the kid.
I hate.
And
Look, I was born and bred to hate the Giants because
me
I'm an
too.
Eagles fan. But I gotta tell you, I like them, and I don't want to.
I said this to my best friend of 23 years on the phone 2 nights ago. I said, I hate the Giants because of our 18-1 season as a Patriot fan.
Yeah.
But I'm not even gonna lie. I love Jackson Dart, love the kid, and I love Scatterbo. Like, I told him, I said, For real, I'm becoming a Giants fan a little bit. A little bit of me roots for them every week. I
Now
hate it,
look,
but I do.
Jackson Dart, and I'll tell you the reason, and this is a nerd thing. I'm a nerd at heart. He wears his eye thing because of Star Wars, which is my favorite fucking thing on the planet. He did it for Anakin, like because Anakin would do that, right? So as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I want to hate him, but I like the guy. I really do. Scrambling white guy quarterback, that doesn't happen these days. Typically, like our white guys, we typically are like statues in the pocket. You know?
Him and Drake May, they got a little bit of legs on them.
Yeah, I like Drake May too. I like Drake.
I know it's hard not to like Drake. I mean, as a Patriot fan, I like Drake, but I thought last year, I was like, God damn, we took another quarterback in the first 5 picks that this kid may not pan out like, our last one with Mac. And I was like, oh, this kid's actually good. Like, he's now
Max balling out now, though, bro. Max balling out.
You know what? Sometimes it's a system, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. In our top 5 picks, we turned around and got him this year a big boy. We got that kid Williams from LSU. We got him a left tackle to protect him. And the kid will protect Drake May at all costs. So that's a good thing. But at ASU, when I was there, you had MySpace. And she turned around and looked up my name. And she went down, clicked on me, and jumped in my DMs. And then she got pregnant within 2 years. And I had my daughter we literally had my daughter 2 days after our 1-year anniversary.
Jesus.
Not gonna lie, my sophomore year, and I still have this picture sitting on my fireplace. My sophomore year before my first starting game, I am literally holding my daughter on the mound for a picture.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
It's an awesome picture. It was an amazing picture for the time too, but like it's just I was so young. And my mom, thank God, owned hotels. So she was able to come out. She got a condo. She helped with my daughter while I was, going to school. I mean, I lived there. I saw my daughter, but I had a babysitter full time. Like, when I had to go to class, if I had to travel for games, so my daughter has an amazing bond with my mom. Like, she's very, very close to me. I'm not with her mother, but her and her mother kind of don't have a really good relationship. So I had her full time since she's been 5 years old. Now she's a freshman athlete at San Diego State, where she'll be a starting player this year on the basketball team.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. My daughter's 5'10.5".
Your daughter is 5 inches taller than I am. Now, I was a basketball player. I was a point guard. I'm a short guy. I'm 5'4", 5'5" growing up. Right? But I was very fast. Now I'm fat and old, so it doesn't matter. But I was very fast. I did a lot of no look passes. They called me Steve Nash because every guy has a long hair face. So I had my hair fucking growing out to my shoulders. I wore a fucking bandana. I looked like somebody out of the 80s. And I would just be. I would play hard. Like, I wasn't the best player on the court, but I was smart. I didn't fucking turn the ball over. I had a little bit of a crossover. And so when growing up, I grew up in Upper Marion in Pennsylvania, and Allen Iverson's cousins grew up. I graduated with some of them.
Shout out to Kobe from Lower Marion.
But Iverson's cousins' last name was Iverson, and this is at the heat of his popularity. So they were on the fucking varsity team, and they were street ballers, bro. They were not fucking like school ballers. There's a difference with that, Yeah. And I would play with those guys, Greg and I forget what the fuck is his brother's name, but they were good. They weren't like school good. It was kind of weird, but their last name was Iverson, so it would draw. Everybody was there, and Allen would sometimes show up randomly. With his entourage and shit to the games. So you'd go try to hoping, it was Corey, his brother was Corey, hoping that they would go. And I tried out for the basketball team and I almost made it. But when you're short, and especially in high school, I was 5'3", so when you're short, you almost have to be like a freak athlete, which I wasn't. I was just smart, so, but basketball was like my first love, dude. I still to this day, I tore my ACL, so I'm not the same, but I miss it so much. Like the competition and
I always tell my daughter this, right? I believe baseball is a gift that you are naturally born with. You either pick up a bat or a ball at 9 years old and you're good. By the time you're 10, 11, you are standout, talkable good at every level.
yeah,
Or you can be average, you can get better, but you're probably never gonna go far. Like I
yeah,
picked up I mean, my dad played AAA in the Red Sox organization. I grew up with backyard baseball in the city. I grew up turning around. I mean, I threw 95 miles an hour in college. Like you can't teach that. You either
yeah,
are able and good, you either have a ball that breaks at the right time, especially with curves, like or you don't. It's just it's I mean, you can teach a kid to be decent. And you can teach a kid to play at the next level, you know what I mean, triple A, double A. You
yeah,
can teach kids, even D3, D2, they can have strong careers, but you either teach it or you don't, and you either have it or you don't. But I feel like basketball was, I mean, and I was a really good football player, but at the Division 1, I mean, I was a tailback and a middle linebacker in college. At 5'10", like I wasn't going to college to get hit by dudes like Terrell Suggs that feels like you're in a car crash every time.
yeah. That guy
Okay,
is a
like
monster.
it's
That
bad
guy's a monster.
enough. It's bad enough that at frat parties I had gotten bulldozed by him, but for fun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, so you don't want to turn around and feel that every time you run a ball. And then when you're trying to tackle dudes, you're trying to tackle dudes like Derrick Henry. Nah, I'm good. Like, that wasn't for me. I had a good
yeah,
high school career. That's fine. I did it. But basketball was my first passion.
yeah.
Again, and as a 5'11" point guard, like again, realism kicks in when you start looking at your junior, senior year. Yes, I was 1,000 point varsity scorer in high school. Great. But have, got my name on the banner, did it. But at the end of the day, like, could I have gone to college and did that at the D1 double A? Nah, nah. I mean, again, like I played in tournaments against guys like Amari Stoudemire was in high school at the same time as me. I played at a Christmas tournament against Amari Stoudemire. I
He
played
is a
against
fucking freak athlete.
I played again. I remember I had Dewan Wagner drop like 88 points on me playing defense in a game. And the
That
day
is
before,
crazy.
no cap, in the Christmas like tournament we were playing in travel tournament, Dewan Wagner dropped 100 points in a game. So when I turned around and only gave up 88, I said to my coach, "Hey, didn't give up a hundo." like I mean, people don't really give Dewan Wagner as much credit because, we had the whole upside down, pancreas and intestines thing. He never got to really play in the league long. But Dewan Wagner would have been something special out of Memphis had he had never with Cleveland. Because he went to Memphis and then got drafted by Cleveland. But if he had never gotten sick, yo, he would have been something different even in the NBA.
Hey, all I'm saying is, as a Sixers fan, born and bred, I went into last night's Sixers Celtics game saying to myself, we're going to lose, but all I want to see is how good our backcourt is with Maxey and BJ Edgecombe. That was my expectation. Watching Maxey and Edgecombe put up ridiculous. Edgecombe scored more points in his debut as a rookie in the NBA than anybody has since 1950, which is fucking wild. He broke the rookie record, which has been held by Allen Iverson since 1997 or 94, 95, something like that, right? Now I think it was
No, it's
97.
97.
Yeah. He broke his record, which was I think 30 or 32. He put up 34. But just, dude, the guy can ball, man. It was fun. Like, I'm saying to the wifey, I'm like, we laid down at like 9:45. I'm old, you know, so we laid down at 9:45. I'm like, all right, let's get some sleep. I'm watching the game, and we are down 11, and I'm like, probably gonna lose, but yeah, we'll keep watching. And we went on a fucking tear. Aubrey hits the fucking three to take the lead. I'm like, holy, I gotta sit up. I sit up. I'm like, I'm into this. And look, Embiid looks cooked. His knees are probably shredded at this point, but it's also his first game that he's played really in the NBA since February of last year.
Yeah,
So
but I still think he's cooked.
I think he's probably cooked too, but you never know. I like that he took more of a back seat. I'm cool with that. But our defense without him was horrendous. I mean, people were just running in, slamming the ball wide open. I mean, it was bad. So like our
He's a
front
good
court's
big
great.
body to have, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just want him to get healthy, make it to the playoffs. Like we just need him in there as a defender, like stonewall defender. And
I don't
I'll
think
take
he
it.
gets healthy. I don't. I hope he does, but I don't think you'll see George and him play together.
Dude, the George contract is absurd. And I know that we had to do it because he was the superstar that was on the market and we had the money. But Jesus, he was the worst signing for us as in terms of just all of Philly. I can name a couple athletes that were just absolute garbage that we paid a shit ton of money. He's there. Him, Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz at least had an MVP season before he got hurt. Like, PG just he looked like an old man. Like, how do you hyperextend your leg 2 times in a month? I played a ton of basketball. I have never hyperextended my knee.
You know what? He had all that stuff he did to himself. And listen, I'm still going to say the way he bounced back to still play at the level he did for so long,
True.
I mean, is impressive. But
He snapped his leg. Do you remember that shit, bro? He snapped his leg in half.
Yes.
It was
and
bad.
then came back and had such a strong career. But again, these guys are bigger than you and I. Bigger people, taller people tend to have issues with feet, ankles, and knees.
Yeah.
And especially with the impact at the level they put on their bodies. And you pay somebody for not what they did, but what they're gonna do. And he's hit that 34. And in the NBA, it has a shorter shelf life than if you're a really good quarterback in the NFL now. Most quarterbacks can make it to 38, 40. I mean, that's a common thing. When you and I were growing up, it wasn't. But
No,
now,
you were dead by then.
yeah, but now, I mean, regardless what people say, Aaron Rodgers is balling out. And he was balling out even in his bad season for New York. And people are like, oh, he's washed up. You know what? He still put up a season that would have put him in the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL on a washed up season. So, I mean, like, give him a little break. I get it. He's 41. I just think it's so funny that, like, his lineman tackled him and he, like, flipped out. And then today he was like, yo, I texted him. I was like, yo, bro, I'm 41 years old. You can't do that. I'm going to get injured. I'm fragile. And then he was like, but I also told him, I owe you one. And I'm going to get him. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad he made a joke about it because people come down hard on Aaron Rodgers for being a dick.
He's very outspoken, and I think in today's world that we live in, when you're outspoken about your opinions, about who you are, that tends to bring down the hammer from today's society, which, is it wrong? Yeah. I mean, I think, there's land of the free, right? You should be able to say what you want, unless it's like blatantly, like if you come out and say some racist shit, yeah, okay, that's cool. You should be the hammer should drop. But if you come out and say, I'm not taking the COVID vaccine because I think it's not good for you, which it isn't, and I took it, and I get shit now that I never did before, I totally agree with
100%. I mean, we talk about my story. I donated my kidney to my best friend's son.
Yeah, let's get into that. So, I know we digressed a bit. So, D1, first off, before we get into it, I got to ask, what's it like to fucking throw 95 miles an hour? Because I watch our pitchers, and you watch someone like, our closer, Jahan Duran, throw 103.
When you throw 95, okay, because even now, like, I look at it, I was very much a Justin Verlander. I went deep into games and I threw harder as games went on. But when you throw 95, like he throws 96, doesn't 97. But
Yeah.
like at my peak, I hit 96, but consistently I hit 95. So to me, the best part about throwing that fast is not, and it always takes me back to Summer Catch the movie, where he's like, son, not many bats are gonna find a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So it reminds me of that like, it's good because you can challenge like 85% of the hitters you ever go against. And not many bats are going to touch your ball. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a little bit like, it's a little bit like you feel the power. I'm not going to lie.
The
But you
Big Nick
also,
energy.
yeah, you feel that energy. But like, yo, and that's where my name first came from was in college. And
Really?
like, yes, yes. And like then like I mean, I had a couple of dudes that made me pay for it for UCLA and like stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, I mean, I tore my rotator my senior year, but that's because I grew up in an era where there was no pitch count. I grew up in
Oh,
an era where I mean, yeah, your target was 100. Like that was your target. You were not wasted or innings weren't counted. I mean, the era we grew up in. I
yeah.
mean, the whole thing was okay, cool. You played school ball's over. Now play for as many club teams as you can. And oh, yo, we got Nick T. Listen, we're gonna make him pitch every 2 3 days. He's gonna pitch our team into the travel ball tournament. Maybe we get to go play in the senior league, World Series, and that's how coaches think. Like with our error, but dude, throwing that fast, it was crazy. It was crazy, and it felt so good. But again, the same approach I have to life because I played so many sports, and my daughter's the same mentality. We turn around. I mean, you get it as an athlete. Like sports is great for kids. I believe it's great to take in that same mentality as an adult. And
Yeah.
as a pitcher, I just like in my real life, I have a short memory. Even though I have a great memory, I have a short memory. If
Yeah.
something bad happens, I say, okay, cool. It's like giving up a home run in the fifth. Okay, cool. We got 4 innings to make it up. Don't give up another. Game is 0-0 for the next batter.
Sports is
Like,
important. Sports is important. I do think I agree with you 100%. I think every kid should play something, whether they like it or not. I do, and I think you discover yourself. When I played football for a Catholic school, and it was the first year that they did it. I was a big guy when I was younger. I was like 4'10". I was like Cartman, basically 4'10", 220. And I played guard, and they tried to get me to play center, but when you're that small, your fucking hands, yeah, they can't even barely fucking grip the ball. But I played guard, and I played defense. I played typically I just played on the line. They moved me around a little bit, but you know, I think you learn about yourself. You learn what you can take. You learn what you can't take. You learn about winning and losing, which I think kids these days don't. There's so many like free trophies that you're given, and it's like in our day, you either won or you lost, and second place is a loser. Sorry, that's reality, and I am thankful that I grew up competitive because in my adult life, I was in sales up until 4 or 5 years ago, and that's what my life was. And sales, I was competitive in that as well, and I was very good at it. So and it stemmed a lot, I think, from just being a competitive person. My fiance is the same way. She's very sales oriented, very competitive, and you should see us play games together. We'll play the Switch and shit, and we're just fucking yelling at each other because we're both
yo,
competitive
I
people.
get it. Even my mentality even goes into podcasting. Like I
Yeah.
love the podcasting. I love it. But like when I see my numbers, like as a guest host, start getting into like the top 100, like I'm at now, I
Yeah.
start getting competitive because now I'm like, yo, let's get to top 50. Like, and then I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I get that same way. And my daughter's got that mentality. She played in the AAU game this summer and they lost by two. And I said, yeah, you only lost by two. She goes, I'd rather have lost by 22. Okay. And I looked at her and I was like,
It's
okay.
true. It's true.
Sorry, second team All American. My bad. So, like, that's you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you. But, like, also as a father, like, I never put my kid in like soccer. I know it just drives me crazy that everybody's first sport they put their kid in is soccer. And they're like, just
That
run
actually was
around.
my first sport. But I was fat, so they put me in at goalie, which I couldn't move quick. But if they kicked it anywhere near me, good luck, because I'm just boop right off the fucking belly, you know.
So it was great throwing 95 at college. I tore my rotator.
Mm.
Then I opened up my own security staffing firm. Now I do music festivals and concerts in strip clubs nationwide.
Ooh,
And yeah, I do
it's
like
gotta be fun.
Coachella, Lollapalooza. It is, but like then I had to have like 5 foot surgeries, and like took me out of men's league basketball last year because some guy 320 pounds. I was moving at Coachella, turned around and came down on my foot and broke my fifth metatarsal in half.
Oh, dude, that takes forever to heal.
It
Forever.
does. Then first it had to heal. Then it didn't heal correctly. Because
Yep.
again, I cut down the healing process because once the pain went away a little bit, I was like, okay, cool. Now I can go back and do some of my own festivals and stuff. Boom, boom, boom. And then, of course, I'm on it. Then they're like, yo, it healed wrong. We got to re break it, reset it. Then they're like, you know what? We're just going to take out the back half of it. And I'm like, whatever. And like, it just becomes a thing. And then you have
Yeah.
subacute rehabs, and then often, and the thing was, the healing process took so long because, to fast forward, my best friend's son, had sickle cell and has
Ah,
had
shit.
sickle cell, still has it, obviously, but has had sickle cell since birth. And his father's O positive. I'm A positive. My best friend is Panamanian and black, but his wife is Caucasian. Their son has A positive blood. So because of that, I'm A positive. Whether I was A positive or A negative, I was a better fit. So
Yeah.
I turned around and they do a 6 point blood system to see if you're compatible. So his dad matched like 3 out of 6 blood points as O positive. I matched 5 out of 6 points. And it only made sense because if it was my daughter, he would have done the same thing. It
Yeah.
only made sense to donate. So I got on the table and gave him my right kidney.
Fuck, dude. So, what's that like to make that decision? Because that's a crazy
I've
life decision, bro.
I'm not gonna cap, like I've had a lot of complications. 40% of donors have complications because it's harder on the donor's body than it is on the recipient's. And when people are like, but why? And I say, look at it this way, right? Imagine you're running on 15%, 20% battery. Now all of a sudden you're at 65, 70. Okay, you're running stronger. Imagine running at 100%. Now you're running at 70%. Your
Yeah.
body's now not running the same. And that's the same way. Like, it's tough because now I'm immunocompromised. I was never immunocompromised. Now I'm
Yeah.
sensitive to certain stuff and have allergies that I never had. I heal slower. Plus, on all of it, we getting old. I mean, I'm 36. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm midlife almost now. So
Yep.
like now I turn around and I see that. So like to me, I've had sepsis 7 times in the last 18 months. Two
Jesus.
two that literally, no, three I can say, almost took my life. Like I'm talking like 30, like 49 over 35 blood pressure, like circling the drain, like
Wow.
104.9 fever type shit. And like where like they've turned around and had to like pump like dextrose into my IV and then turn around and follow it with a little bit of insulin because dextrose and a steroid help your blood pressure go up. So like, and dude, and it also helps with the potassium, like so your potassium levels don't go high, and dude, it's a crazy like science, and at the end of the day, I've been through it. But do I regret it? No, because again, I mean, yeah, I was like 9% body fat, okay, before it. Now, I mean, I've probably put on like 25 pounds, but I hold a lot of fluid. I
Yeah.
do. Like that's like if I took another LASIK, I could go right back to where I was and just pee out the water weight, but it would be strain on my kidney. So I do it naturally. Like I had just gotten back to normal and then I just spent 3 weeks in the hospital recently, like about 4 weeks ago. Like I did
Damn.
if you look at my Instagram, lowercase b Nick energy underscore 2025, if you look at my Instagram, I have clips of doing a pub match interview from my hospital bed.
So this is the other side of donating your fucking organs while you're alive that you're not going to get from most people, right? Like most
Yeah.
people, you're either donating when you're dead or you're donating when you're alive, but most of the stories are feel good shit. They don't talk about the complications that happens to the person that fucking donated whatever they
No.
donated.
And it's a rough ride. Like again, like you, I did the COVID and I get sick. Every time I got COVID, I got sepsis not far after. Like I swear yo, and it's crazy because I hate to admit to my sister she was right. Like, because my sister was like, I'm not getting it. It's not good. Hasn't had anything. Me, on the other hand, I've had COVID after I got the first COVID shot, and I had right after a foot surgery. I turned around and caught COVID. No lie.
Dude,
When I was in the hospital last year, no cap, like from my foot surgery, I came out of foot surgery. I caught COVID. I had not like, oh, I had COVID with no symptoms. I
yeah.
had COVID with symptoms, like glass in my throat. Never
Right.
lost my smell or taste, thank God. But I had glass in my throat, fevers, sweating. Came right after a foot surgery. So last year, after a foot surgery, I had an infection. I had MRSA in my foot that was active and painful. I had COVID that was taking over my body, and I had a blood infection all at the same time going septic.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Me and the wifey, we were out in the middle of COVID. We've never had any issues. The only reason we got the shot, the initial two shots, was because we wanted to travel, and we were going to Punta Cana, especially during COVID, dude. It was cheap as fuck. But in order to travel internationally, they required you basically to have the shot. So we did the first two shots together, which we got sick so bad that night, like awful. And then a month later, got COVID. She didn't fucking get it. She didn't fucking get it until I don't know 2 years later. I even got COVID again before she even got it, which is fucking ridiculous. Her immune system's insane, but it's just wild to me that and I didn't want to take it. We waited 8 months to do it, but it kind of we kind of had to, and I regret it because I get heart palpitations that I never used to get, dude. I've always been super healthy for the most part, and I get all this weird shit has happened to me now, and it could be age, could be, but I think some of it is definitely from that shot because you got to work on that shit for 5 to 10 years before you give it to fucking people. And that's 6 months. So
I
all I'm
still
saying,
stand. Yeah, it was a thing. But here's the good part though. While I was in rehab and stuff, and in an LTAC rehab, which is a higher step up than subacute, while I was in rehab, I was on POF as a dater. And what did I find? They had a live stream section.
There you go.
and it was linked to Meet Me and Zeus, and they were all together in a live stream community. And I knew nothing about live streaming. I went in, I saw gifts flying while somebody guy was in the box trying to talk to this girl, and I was like, "Dude, is this paid speed dating? Get the hell out of here! I ain't paying to talk to nobody." And then finally, I saw a dude one day, and I went in his stream just to see what was up. Like, right, dude, what's going on? And he was like, "Yo, this is live streaming, not dating, bro." I was like, "Good, cause you know my type." I'm glad that's where we stand. And like, then I started hanging out in his stream because he was a cool vibe, and I get in the box. I talk to him and his girlfriend. I would entertain. We'd have jokes and stuff. He's like, "Bro, like it's been a couple of weeks, and I'm not gonna lie, like, yo, you're pretty funny, you know, this, that, and the other." He's like, "Yo, you probably be really good at live streaming. Like, you should go live." So then I went on POF and I did like in my first year like 11 million like gifted, and I was moving up fast, and then the next year POF last year split from Meet Me. So Meet Me matched your account. So I linked jumped over to Meet Me because there was bigger streamers over there and whatever. Long story short, I ended up jumping to 27.3 million
Wow.
and in the top 1,000 out of 7 million streamers. And then, like this winter into spring, I started seeing like the app change. I started seeing the culture change of streaming, where people started caring more about algorithms and greed, and there's too much noise and negativity and trolling. Listen, I control with the best. But at the end of the day, like, it was just a bad culture. And my number five gifter, who's one of my best friends, I met on the app. This woman, Sunshine, comes to me and she's like, "Dude, Nick, like, nigga, you just upset with now. Like, don't like you're always like you're happy, but you're unhappy, and you try to fake it, and yeah, I can tell." Like, so she was like, "You know what? Like, go another avenue. Go TikTok." She was like, "Go into Instagram Live. Do something else. Like, you'll have success no matter where you go." But she's
Yeah.
like, "I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you consider podcasting." And then I went to one of my friends that was also part of the 10 Milli Club. I mean, and he said, "You're close to getting a top badge," which is like a top content creator badge
Yeah.
on, Meet Me. And he was like, "You're close to getting a top badge. Like, turn around and get your top badge. You're 27 like million. Like, you'll keep having success. You have great people." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm unhappy. I'm
Yeah.
unhappy with the culture. Like, you may like it because you're a DJ on the app and you get a different vibe. But for me, my only vibe is like, if people come in, I'm an entertainer. But outside of that, if I get a top badge, it's going to be purely on my numbers."
Yeah.
Because, like, let's be honest, like, when you talk that type of streaming, your content is your content creating personality. Like, it's not like I was playing music or singing or juggling and swallowing fire. Like, not that it is that, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, and I didn't bring in negative vibes. Like, I wasn't a gossip person and had
Yeah.
like this, like, I bring two people in that hated each other and let them fight in my box and just sit there like, haha, and commentate. Like, no. So my thing was, I made people laugh and I made people feel seen, and I was good to everybody, no matter what your gifter level was. But at the end of the day, that just wasn't getting enough. The app is starting to struggle. And then C2 just came in with a new streaming app last year. They finally found their strides. Maybe Clover doesn't go bankrupt this time with C2. And at the end of the day, they're starting to pull a lot of the Meet Me bigger streamers and gifters, and Meet Me struggling. And I'm glad I made the jump into podcasting, because
Yeah.
now I have my own signature energy drink through my sponsor. Like, now, I have my own thing, and my people can follow me, and people can still get my content without having to gift me, without
Yeah.
having to work 40 hours and then give me 10 hours of their paycheck.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it like that, it makes you feel bad as a streamer. Like, because when I sit there and I think about it now, and I'm like, yo, somebody just dropped 1,200 on me in a day. Like, how much of their dude? They worked like a whole week to gift me. Like, that's crazy. And I start, even if it's your credit card, it's still like that stuff hits
Still
you.
money.
It
Yeah.
hits you if you're empathetic. If
Yeah.
you have a soul, it starts to hit you. So like it started to hit me recently. Like I was like, dude, like these people, like, dude, there were like I've had people drop like 500K on me in a day. That's $2,500. So
Wow.
like I'm like, whoa, like you know what I mean? Like it's still money, and I'm like, so when I like podcasting, because now my people can find me on, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, and like they can listen to me. They don't have to pay to listen to me. Maybe if they have to pay for one of their things, but you know what I mean. Like they don't have to like pay to like crazy to be there or feel obligated to pay. Like if I ever decide to do a buy me a coffee or Patreon, great. But like some people, they sponsor me by buying my energy drink. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. Like it's a powder. Like, you know what I mean? You get 2 months worth for $30. Like, hey, it's worth it. They turn around and they sponsor and buy my energy drink. But outside of that, that's the part I like. Like I always tell people with podcasting, the part I love about it is the people who listen to you don't really, you know what I mean? They don't have to pay. And, them giving you your time, it's your sponsors that end up, supporting you if
Yeah.
you're good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to me, it kind of takes it off my people that they can be a part of my day. They just, no money, just your time. And that's where I get a lot of people listen to me at work, and it was nice the jump and the crossover because I brought a lot of my supporters from like the UK, Australia, Canada, obviously the US and a few other countries,
Yeah.
Netherlands, stuff like that. I brought my supporters from Meet Me to my streaming career. And that's why last week I hit 3,000 listens. So, you know what I mean? And then I made a joke when I was in somebody's stream visiting last night. They were like, 3,000. We saw the post on Instagram. That's awesome. 5 months, that's great. And I'm like, yeah, but I got over 7,000 followers on Meet Me. Y'all slacking.
I did the same thing as you, man. I started out in streaming. I was doing Twitch. I streaming video games, and I actually might go back just because I'm a gamer, and I might just do it just because I have the setup again. But and I moved from there to podcasting because a lot of people said, "Hey, you have a mic and a voice that's like you should be an announcer, or you should be doing podcasting." I'm like, that's a good idea. So I went into the podcasting and I did it. I started over 3 years ago, and it's cool because you get to do whatever you want. I could say whatever the fuck I want. No one's, I mean, the algorithm might tell you otherwise, right? But you get to do whatever you want, say whatever you want. I control everything. No one tells me I can't say, like, if I want to, call someone a fag, which, back in our day, it was cool. If I say that shit on Twitch, you're fucking banned, like, it is what it is. But I just like the freedom of being able to do what I want when I want. Interview cool people like you, and I have people all over the world too, right? Australia, Japan, China,
Singapore.
Germany, yeah, like all over the fucking place. And you don't get the same exposure necessarily from streaming. Streaming can be cool. You meet a lot. I met some of my really good friends I talk to every day from streaming, and we might collab again. The world that we live in, between streaming and podcasting, whatever you're going to do, it's all about networking. It's who you know, it's how you met them, and it's and I think it was, you kind of mentioned it. It's like, hey, this is, how do you want it? Because this is our thing, right? And I don't get too many people that say that, but you get it, because my people are going to listen to you. Your people might listen to me, it's a symbiotic relationship between me and you. And the better I do, the better this episode does, the better you do, and vice versa. And I think people, especially competitive people, I'm fine with it because I'm competitive. They look at it like, oh, well, no, that's my competition. It's really not.
And I told you know it's funny you say that because I had a conversation about this on my podcast last night. Was that I bring my same mentality from streaming into podcasting. And I think it's the same mentality I had when I started my business and I brought in friends. Okay? To me it's always been and this is always I've been, this has always been my phrase even before people started trying to use it and stuff. I swear, and it's always been let's connect and grow together. That's always been the way I am. Okay,
Yeah.
when I streamed, yes, 27 million. But dude, I gifted. I was a big gifter because streaming wasn't a revenue. It was a source of connecting with people when I was
Yeah.
going through my hardest, darkest days. Okay, and my hardest times because right, like even though on paper it looks good, right? You were still a full-time single dad, your kid was well taken care of, you still have a really successful business, you're good. But on paper, dude, I'm in a hospital. I spent 56 weeks between a hospital and a rehab, 13 months. Okay, just going back and forth because of sepsis and surgeries and a kidney infection where they had to turn around and cut out infected tissue last year. And it was a battle. But like, and this has been my quote that a lot of podcasters have quoted me on is, and I always say, people say, "Oh, why do you podcast?" You know why? Because I have my fun episodes, right, like this, where you and I can vibe out, and this is probably 85% of my podcast. But then I get those days, 15%, where I don't have a co-host.
Yeah.
Maybe my buddy's lifing. Okay, I don't bring anyone on, and it's a romantic session with that mic. Maybe I just talk and do my therapy where I talk to people about what they're going through. Maybe I relate to it and I make it my story and what I'm going through, but I tell it because I know there's people listening that are going through the same exact thing in that moment.
Yeah.
And I always tell people I stand where I am and I am where I am and I've always been resilient and I got out of a bad neighborhood in South Boston. And, even though, like, I won't lie, like, my grandfather was affiliated with the Irish mob. I mean, he's first coming over the boat Irish. He came from a poor family. It was one or two ways when he came through the Great Depression. It was either, you came from money or you went to the illegal side. And my grandfather did. And I mean, I turned around and I got out of South Boston on a scholarship. And I turned around and I opened up a successful business. And at the end of the day, like I turn around and tell people, even to this day, 100% of the time I've ever been lost at sea in a storm and in a dark place and I was lost, somebody's always found me worth the time to come find me and bring me back. And that's why I'm here. And that's why,
Yeah.
and I do. I have my romantic sessions on the mic where I know people are going through maybe financial times and, and I let them, what I mean? Like, it's not bad forever. Okay? It's never bad forever. I mean, as cliche as it is, because everybody says it in social media now, dude, you have survived 100% of your bad times in your life. And guess
Hmm.
what? And it's cool. I did a pod match interview with somebody who did a story about me, which was really cool. They wrote up a whole entire story. And it was like maybe like a 3-minute read. But
Yeah.
like the whole thing is, dude, my thing is I've always made people laugh today on a heavy day. So maybe tomorrow isn't as bad. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm gonna be honest, I'm like you. I'm raw and real. My episodes are that way. I say what I want and I'll die on that hill. Okay? And on certain things I feel certain ways.
Yeah.
And on and of course, I'm one of those people that tries to avoid politics as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Sometimes it's
try.
unavoidable
It
in this
is.
world, but
In
I agree.
today's time,
Yeah.
like when you and I were growing up, you could dip and dodge it, right? You could dip and dodge it. But in today's time, you
You can
can't.
do it.
You
Yeah.
can't. It's so prevalent. It's almost like saying, "Yo, how are the Phillies doing?" or "How's the weather?" It's just
Yeah.
so prevalent now that you're just stuck with having to face it. So, I mean, there's times I'm just like, "Yo, listen, I don't go left, I don't go right, I go in the middle." Okay, I pick and choose what I want off each menu. I feel how I feel individually on issues, and that's just where I stand. And and at this day and time, I feel just everybody, I have one common thought, and it's not because I try to be do the sound bite and the walk. It's one thing is just everybody just needs to be kind to each other. That's it. Like, just do something nice. Like, maybe
Yeah.
that person gets inspired to be nice and do something kind for even the slightest thing that makes someone's day. I mean, it's free to be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I try. But I had this talk on my podcast where I believe, like, as I've like gained my reviews and as I grow, I see that some pod match host feels like I'll read their criteria before I'm even like, yo, I'll do your show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'll read their criteria and I'm like, yo, I'm a perfect match. And I will write out something to them and they will turn around and be like, no match, not a good fit. And I'm like, dude, I am exactly what your podcast is. And I'm like, you know what it is? Like, I think this person is like, kind of blocking me. They're like, maybe I'll lose listeners. No, for my people that will listen to this episode, or my people that I'll have come check you out, and I'll turn around and talk about you because you've been one of my greatest interviews. I'm not going to lie. You've been
Thank
top
you.
three. And like when I turn around and talk about it, yeah, I'm gonna push you. That's what I do. I plug people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're not scripted. That's what makes this interview so awesome, is it's so genuine, authentic, and real. It's not scripted. And like it's spider webbed off of you're like me, ADD, like it just spider webs into different topics and branches off, but it
Yeah.
makes a podcast flow. And like to me, I get these people that turn around and they sound so scripted and disingenuous. And they're like, oh, your followers didn't listen to me, or da 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 da. They'll be like, I didn't see an increase. And I just want to be like, yo, it'll happen. And I feel like saying, because my people like the fact that I'm raw and real. You
Yeah.
sound scripted. And scripted isn't genuine, and people nowadays are overly sensitive anyway. They're really oversensitive. They're like, yo, they could tell when somebody just doesn't care and someone's just going with the script. You know what I'm saying? But
Look,
you and I, it just flows.
one thing I'll tell you, one thing I've learned, I've been doing this for a little while, is the numbers don't matter. And I used to analyze the numbers. I never, and that's bullshit, bro. If someone actually said to you, I didn't get a jump in my episode, that's fucking bullshit, first off. I have never, for me as a podcaster, I've come out and said, you know what? This episode is going to fucking kill it. And it didn't do shit. And then I post something and I'm like, I don't think this is going to do well. And it's one of my best episodes. And that is just, I think you just have to like, disassociate yourself from the numbers. If you're listening to this and you're a podcaster, you're going to start a podcast. Don't fucking look at the numbers. I used to look every day, multiple times a day. Now I'm lucky if I look once a week because I don't give a fuck if 1,000 people listen to this or if 2 people listen. If I could save somebody, I've interviewed people. I mean, the last person I had, her dad was murdered on Halloween and she had to go through fucking PTSD and she did she had to deal with some crazy shit. And if I have one person that listens to that episode that's going through PTSD and it helps them, that's all that fucking matters. And I'm getting to an age where I care about leaving a legacy. And I don't have kids. And what am I going to be when I die, when I go wherever I fucking go. That's a whole other conversation. Wherever I go, right?
I love you. Go keep going.
I want, maybe in 20 years, if I'm fucking dead, someone could go on YouTube and be like, oh shit, this is a good podcast. Let me listen to a couple episodes. And if I'm dead, I'm dead. But if it helps somebody, that's all that matters. I don't make money off of this shit, bro. If anything, I'm way in the red. It's a hobby and it's fun. And I get to talk with people like yourself and people all over the world. And that's how I look at it. And
You know what's funny is that's the biggest thing that made me leave streaming was I started questioning my legacy past my daughter. Okay, my daughter, yes, is my only child and probably going to be my only child. I mean, who knows? I mean, look at Clint Eastwood and Stallone, but still, who knows?
never know.
But she is my, or who comes knocking at my door in a week. But at the end of the day, she is my only kid. And she will have a legacy that she is building, and that's great. But I want an individual legacy. What I did for this world when I'm gone. And I've been asked that question by other podcasters, and that was one thing, like streaming. Like I used to always have somebody who talked to me that was a big streamer on there, and they used to be like, this is my legacy, Nick. Like, I'm in the top 10 all time, and I'm going to make a jump to TikTok maybe and go over there and kill it. And I'm like, that's great. But, like, my legacy of being top 1,000 all time, which is great on Meet Me, it's Meet Me. like
Yeah.
like it's a dating app, but it has a live streaming service. I mean, it's more live streaming than it is dating now, but at the end of the day, it's Meet Me. Okay, like, dude, bragging about having a legacy on there is like bragging being the fifth person in a 5-man race. So at the end of the day,
I agree.
ain't fifth, but like,
Yeah.
how many people? 5. But like at the end of the day, like, podcasting is my legacy, and that's
Yeah.
what I wanted now. I wanted to start building it now because at the end of the day, it's all worth it when I've had my daughter text to me and be like, "Yeah, I missed you this morning and listened to an episode," and like,
My dad does the same thing. My dad listens to he's my biggest fan, which is funny.
yeah,
But it's the same thing.
and I love that I'm in Boston and she's in San Diego.
Yeah.
Literally couldn't be further apart. But my kid will still turn around and be like, sounded interesting, so I listened to this because I missed you. And she's like, that guest is a little wild, but a good episode.
I've had some fucking wild guests, bro. Like alien believing, crazy, like, but it is gold.
That was my first ever. That was my first time ever. But like, okay, so the whole DoorDash thing that's going on?
No.
Okay, so this girl, probably 25 to 29 years old, white girl, was delivering for DoorDash. She went to a guy's house. Okay, the guy had
I know what you're talking
the door
about.
cracked open and was
Yeah.
passed out, but had pants on, but they were real low, right? And she,
Yeah.
saw a little something, something. But the thing is, she pushed the door open, turned on her camera, and recorded him. Then she didn't know he had ring. Then as she's walking out, she's saying, I was just essayed, da 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 da, and went to DoorDash thinking DoorDash was gonna write her a check. And instead, they're like, dude, like, you uploaded this picture to TikTok, you doxed the guy and said his name, his address, everything. You put the video of him naked, like, we're banning you and we're banning him. Why they banned him made no sense, but
That's
they
fucked
did.
up. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, TikTok dropped the photo, the video, and then banned her. And then she's like, I'm the victim. So, like, it's so funny because now I haven't seen one, because, it ends up catching, the algorithm on Instagram.
Yeah.
And, like, it started catching my all these different content creators are commenting on it. And I'm like, dude, I haven't seen one person take this girl's side. I haven't seen one person in the comments take this girl's side. And somebody, it even worded it the right way. They were like, dude, how do you become a villain in your own story? Like, you're lucky. And if I was the dude, after you doxed me and took pictures and put
Oh, I'm
videos on me,
suing the shit out of you, bro.
suing you. You didn't just lose your job at TikTok, but now you're gonna work for me. And like, that's how I feel. And like, so I had a friend, well, I have a friend in the streaming world who knew her on TikTok. And this morning they're like, yo, I can get her to come on your podcast. I said, no, thank you. I'm going to pass on that one.
You can get a lot of hate, for that shit. But look, we've gone into a couple things, right? We've talked about human life, human perseverance. One thing I always say to people, especially when we talk about like the deep shit, right? It's like what you are as a human being is not the adversities you go through. It's who you are after the adversities. And it sounds like, Nick, you've been through some shit. You're still kind of going through some shit, right? But it sounds like you came out for the better. You learned a lot and you're still learning and you're growing. And I, as an old man at this point, I appreciate that, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Live. Like we need to chill with the sepsis, bro. We don't need you fucking dying on us, all right? And keep being a good figure for your daughter. I think it's fucking cool. She's in college. She's playing ball, and I appreciate all that shit. But look, we're at that point where people probably lose attention spans at this point. I've learned that like the hour mark is where people like the space out. But tell my listeners, everybody, where they can find all of your content.
They can find me at Instagram, which is lowercase bnickenergy _2025. You can find my podcast, which y'all gotta love the name, Two Nicks, One Cup.
Love it, love it.
You can find Two Nicks, One Cup on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, look, it was a fucking pleasure having you on. Let's do this again in a year when you're like the biggest podcaster on the planet, right? And and you're still alive. Like key point there. Fucking stay alive, brother. And my podcast is Drink Clock Pod, wherever you listen to podcasts, and Drink Clock Pod on all socials. So thank you so much, dude, and you have a great night.
You too.
On a stormy night where legends unfold, there's a podcast that's breaking the mold. Raise your voices, raise your glass high. Welcome to the Drink O'Clock Podcast. Let's dive. Oh, grab an old fashioned and join the fray. Raise your spirits, let the music play. From the corner pub to the dance hall floor. Drink O'Clock Podcast, we're ready for more. We're ready for more. With a mix of folklore and rebel cheer here, we'll guide you through tales of whiskey and beer. From Irish shores to lands afar, grab your friends, it's time to raise